In this video, we are going to create an expert advisor that utilizes the money flow index indicator for trading decisions. Let's see how we can do that. We start Metaeditor by clicking a little icon or pressing F4. This opens the development environment where we can write and edit our MQL code. The first part of our code includes the necessary library for trading operations. The include directive imports the CTrade class from the standard library, which provides simplified trading methods such as PositionOpen and PositionModify. This class is instantiated as an object named Trade, which will manage all trade operations including position management. Next, we define our strategy configuration parameters. These parameters are adjustable in the Expert Advisor properties. The LookbackBars parameter specifies the historical range for highs and lows, allowing us to analyze between 1 and 1,000 candles. The MinCandlesBack parameter sets the minimum age for a valid high or low, which can range from 5 to 50 candles. The TrailingOffset parameter provides a safety margin for the trailing stop-in points with a range of 1 to 20. The MFIPeriod parameter defines the period for the money flow index indicator calculation, typically set to 14. The OverboughtLevel and OversoldLevel parameters set the thresholds for the MFI, with overbought typically around 70 to 80 and oversold around 20 to 30. We then declare global variables and handles to store the state between ticks and indicator data. The MFI handle variable will hold the MFI indicator handle, while MFI buffer is an array that will store the MFI values. The price data array will hold the open, high, low, and close price data, which is defined using the MQL rate structure. The onInit function is executed once at the start of the Expert Advisor for indicator setup. Inside this function, we create the MFI indicator handle using the IMFI function, specifying the current symbol, the H1 timeframe, the MFI period, and the volume type as volume tick. We also configure the arrays as time series, ensuring that the newest data is at index 0. This alignment allows us to work with the data in a natural time progression. Finally, we return the success code in it succeeded to indicate that the initialization was successful. Next, we define the functions for opening positions. The openByPosition function is responsible for executing a market by order. It retrieves the current ask price using the symbolinfo double function with the symbol ask parameter. The trade PositionOpen method is then called to open a buy position. The parameters for this method include the symbol, the order type set to order type buy, the volume set to 0. 10, which means we are buying 10 micro lots, the ask price as the entry price, and both the initial stop loss and take profit set to 0, indicating they are disabled. A comment is added to the position for identification. The open sell position function operates similarly but for sell orders. It retrieves the current bid price using the symbolinfo double function with the symbol bid parameter. The trade PositionOpen method is called with the order type set to order type sell, the volume again set to 0.10, and the bid price as the entry price. The initial stop loss and take profit are also set to 0, and a comment is added. The onTick function is executed on every tick and contains the core strategy logic. First, we retrieve historical price data for analysis by copying H1 candle data for the specified lookback period using the copyRates function. The parameters include the symbol, the time frame, the starting position set to 0, the count of candles to copy defined by LookbackBars, and the target array price data. Next, we load the MFI values from the indicator buffer using the copyBuffer function. This function copies the calculated MFI values into the MFI buffer array for trend analysis. The parameters include the indicator handle, the buffer number set to 0, the starting position set to 0, the count defined by LookbackBars, and the target array MFI buffer. We then check the status of open positions. A Boolean variable has open position is initialized to false, and the current position type is set to position type buy as a default value. We loop through all open positions in reverse order to safely identify relevant ones. For each position, we retrieve the unique ticket number using PositionGetTicket. If the position belongs to the current symbol, we mark that we have found an open position and store its type. The loop exits after finding the first matching position. Next, we implement trend detection and position management. A buy condition is established when the MFI rises above the oversold level, indicated by MFI buffer 0 being greater than oversold level and MFI buffer 1 being less than or equal to oversold level. If no open positions exist, we call the open buy position function to open a new buy position. Conversely, a sell condition is established when the MFI falls below the overbought level, indicated by MFI buffer 0 being less than overbought level and MFI buffer 1 being greater than or equal to overbought level. If no open positions exist, we call the open sell position function to open a new sell position. We also manage trailing stops separately from entry signals. If there are existing positions, we check their types. For a buy position, we identify the lowest low in the lookback period using the iLowest function. The low index variable stores the index of this low, and the last low variable holds its value. We then check if the low index is at least MinCandlesBack old and if the current price is above the identified low. If these conditions are met, we calculate the new stop level by adding the trailing offset to the last low and call the process trailing stop function to manage the trailing stop. For a sell position, we identify the highest high in the lookback period using the iHighest function. The high index variable stores the index of this high, and the last high variable holds its value. Similar to the buy position, we check if the high index is at least MinCandlesBack old and if the current price is below the identified high. If these conditions are met, we calculate the new stop level by subtracting the trailing offset from the last high and call the process trailing stop function. The process trailing stop function updates the stop loss for both buy and sell positions. We iterate through all open positions in reverse order for safe modifications. For each position, we select it using its ticket number. We check if the position matches the specified type and belongs to the current chart symbol. We retrieve the current stop loss value using PositionGetDouble with the position SL parameter. Depending on the position type, we update the stop loss. For a buy position, we check if the new stop level is higher than the current stop or if there is no existing stop loss. If either condition is true, we call trade. PositionModify to update the stop loss. For a sell position, we check if the new stop level is lower than the current stop or if there is no existing stop loss. If either condition is true, we also call trade. PositionModify to update the stop loss. Finally, we press F7 to compile the code. If this was too fast for you or if you don't understand what all the code is doing, you may want to check out the premium course on our website or watch one of the basic videos first. If that works, we go back to Metaeditor by pressing F4 or clicking on the icon. Back in Metaeditor, we press Ctrl and R to start the strategy tester, pick the expert advisor that we have just created, enable the visual mode, and start a strategy test. We should see the expert advisor on the chart. If you are already a premium course member and have an idea for a video like this one, you can send us an email. In summary, we have learned how to code an expert advisor that utilizes the money flow index for trading decisions, managing both buy and sell positions with trailing stops. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.